Okay, hello there and welcome to the second part of my library tour in 2022, and today I'm going to be tackling the Penguin Black classics over here. So they start about here and run back to over there. Not all the books there are Penguin classics, so I'll be bypassing them and I'll do them in a future video where I'll be looking at some miscellaneous classics. So today it's just going to be Penguins. And there's going to be some overlaps. I have books in multiple editions, but I'll talk about some of the fun ones that maybe stand out a bit. And like last time, we're starting off with Jane Austen. This is Northanger Abbey, and I think this is maybe the first Jane Austen I read, and it's I still think it's very fun and I really enjoy it. And I think this is the edition. Yeah, this is the edition that I read. So yeah, it's a fun one. And then moving on into Bronte land, so we've got Charlotte Bronte's Villette here. I haven't read Villette. And another Charlotte Bronte, one that I haven't read yet, and this is Shirley, which I picked up recently, and it's a nice big floppy one. That's something I quite like with the Penguin Black classics. They're nice and floppy and they're stately without being too stately, if you get what I mean. Then moving on, we've got Mikhail Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita, and I've read this recently and quite enjoyed it. It was, there's a lot in there I wasn't expecting. It's a fun book. Then we've got some Anton Chekhov, so his plays. Again, I read this recently and really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to make a video soon. I should probably get around to it sooner rather than later, ranking the 5 major plays of Chekhov, which is really just an excuse to talk about them because they were really good. Then moving on to one of my favourites, this is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, which I talked about recently when I was providing 10, maybe my 10 top, no, was it 5 top English novels? And this is, a really good one, and it's a great novel just to sink into, really. Then we've got Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. It's a while since I've read this, and not much to say. Then we've got some Elizabeth Gaskell. This is Ruth, which is apparently very depressing. I haven't read this, but my wife thinks it's really good, so I'll probably get around to it at some point. I've never read any Elizabeth Gaskell, to my shame. And then we've got some Victor Hugo, another writer I've never read, and this is Notre Dame of Paris, so Hunchback of Notre Dame. And just one of those writers I haven't got to yet, but he's sitting around on the shelf. Another, there'll probably be a few I haven't got to yet. This is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Love in the Time of Cholera. And this is for World Book Night, so it's a fun little, probably cheaply put together edition for World Book Night. I've been meaning to get around to Marquez and just haven't yet, but hopefully sooner rather than later. Okay, then some that I actually have read. One of my favourite little books, Utopia by Thomas More. One of those books I just keep thinking about, and I think every time I go back to it, there's something about it. Everything's just much more complex, and you remember it being in a good way. There's much more nuance, and you look at the problems, and it just gets you maybe thinking about some of the problems in our own society and how we might go about tackling them or living with them and things like that. So find Thomas More pretty interesting. Moving on then to a different change of pace, we've got Walter Scott's Ivanhoe, just a great sort of medieval adventure, and I really enjoyed it. We've got then another one of my favourite novels, This is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and yeah, it's a classic for a reason. Then again, just another one of those books that's a classic for a reason. Robert Louis Stevenson's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah, I should probably revisit this soon, because there are bits that I was a little underwhelmed with, but then I think I can remember bits that were quite harrowing and intense. So I want to give it another go and see what I think of it, because it's been a while. Then we've got some Anthony Trollope. This is Phineas Redux. I've got, is this the Palliser series? Something like that. And I've got the first book in that series. Is it Can You Forgive Her? I think, floating around somewhere. So I'll start this series at some point, but I've got Phineas Redux waiting for me. I think that's like book 3 or 4 in that series, so we'll get there. And then some H.G. Wells. We've got The Time Machine here, which is, you know, for a little book, has a lot of punch. I need to read some more H.G. Wells, actually. I might even reread. There's so many books here that I either want to read or reread. Yeah, it's been ages since I've read any H.G. Wells. And then, again, a change of pace. We've got the Letters of Vincent van Gogh, which I've only really dipped in and out of. Every time I do dip into it, there's just a really, I always feel really positive and really good after reading a bit of it. So I should revisit this soon and read more of it. And then the last two for today, and they're actually two of my favourites out of these Penguin classics. First up, we've got Early Irish Myths and Sagas, and this is translated by Geoffrey Gans, or Gantz, and yeah, they're just these great early Irish stories, and yeah, it's just really, really fun. The first story, The Wooing of Atoin, is really, really fun, and there's just lots of great stuff in there. And then in very similar territory, we have The Toyn, which is just an incredible story, and I'd highly recommend it. And there we go. That's my Penguin Black classics, and I'll be back soon. Maybe with some more classics, maybe with something else. We don't know. Yeah, that's that for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Bye.